with the first installment of picks and predictions for the 2015 U.S. Open at the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadow, New York. For the past 2 years, I've been consistently focusing my picks and predictions for the All England Tennis Championships, or Wimbledon, but now is the time that I should finally focus my attention on my own tournament, stateside, the U.S. Open. Okay, so it's sad, but I think it's going to be yet another mediocre year for the American men. Players such as Isner and Jack Sock will not really fare too well at this year's Open. They will not. None of them will advance any further than maybe the round of 16. But as for the young guns such as Donaldson and Tiafoe, you will see some glimmer of hope from these young players. They will probably have very good opening rounds in the tournament, but they'll probably be down or go out in the first or second rounds. But you'll see some really good performances from them earlier on. But these guys are just fresh out of high school, so they've got plenty of years ahead of them. But overall, the men's draw looks like a recipe for major upsets. Andy Murray will face Aussie bad boy Nick Krygios in the first round, which is destined to be like a really great match, and I see a great chance for an upset here. In fact, I would say I'm going to go with Krygios in the first round in 4 sets against Britain's Andy Murray. Another person who is most likely to be a casualty in the earlier rounds is Rafael Nadal. Rafael Nadal in the first round will face a micro version of Djokovic, Croatia's Borna Coric. I have a hard time pronouncing his name, but he could be, he could be an interesting opponent for Nadal in the opening round. But Nadal has a chance of winning his first round match against Djokovic, heir apparent. But the thing is, unfortunately, I don't see him getting an opportunity of having a close encounter with the original kind, Novak Djokovic. Djokovic is playing really strong lately, and Nadal has been quite vulnerable. And other than on the clay courts, I don't really see Nadal making much of a splash in any of his future tournaments in the upcoming years. So I think basically everything's going downhill for Nadal in the near future. Well, also in his way is perhaps in the most flamboyant quarter of this year's tournament is Fabio Fognini and fellow Spaniard Feliciano, or as Murray's mother likes to call him, Feliciano Lopez. Okay, Feliciano Lopez. Anyway you look at it, things are looking quite dismal for the former U.S. Open champ. Look for him to go down early in the beginning of the second week. Out of the top 4 seeds, look for Federer to cruise into the quarterfinals. Also, we have to take into account another Croatian, I believe, who is Croatia's top player, Marin Cilic, and defending champion, last year's defending champion and #1 Croat. Marin Cilic should meet Kei Nishikori in a rematch of last year's final, but this time in the quarterfinals. But when Sunday comes, the last 2 men standing will be Novak Djokovic and the Swiss maestro Roger Federer. In the final, look for Federer to go for it on its serve and do everything in his power to keep Djokovic from grinding it out. However, Djokovic's inability to execute his game plan for the long haul will come between Federer and the title. So, in a nutshell, the champ for this year will be Novak Djokovic. Alright, in the women's draw, look for a lot of breakthrough performances from a lot of young American women as they flood the draw. Expect to see several Americans advance into the second week. For the first time in nearly 3 decades, there will be a player to win all 4 majors within a calendar year. And that woman is none other than Serena Williams. With the absence of Sharapova, nothing will stand in her way. Okay, for Monday, August 31st, 2015, this is Daryl Kramer with his first installment of picks and predictions for the 2015 US Open in the men and women's draws. Until next time, goodbye everyone.